ways and connecting in other ways, but being here every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, this is it, okay? Um, I, yeah, it's very hard being human, isn't it? Particularly when you are truly making yourself available to evolve and being used. And when you're in a female body, you're very dynamic. You're extremely dynamic when you're in a female body. And I look at everything through a very wide lens until I decide to narrow it down for whatever reason. And when I look at the human population today, I don't just look at today, I look at what has influenced how today became so. And I'm also in extreme intimacy with my whole self and the dynamism of myself. I'm currently inside of the 3-day cash vortex. It started today, and it's going today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And I was live with the women this morning inside of our private Facebook group. And I was telling my mom, I said, Mom, I just feel like I'm all alone in this world. I mean, I say this word, I mean this way that I think, things that are just so obvious to me and easy. And here's the thing, it's not easy just because who I am. Even when I was broken, I just knew. Like, can't you see the multitude of illusions that are here and that you can create your own illusion? When you notice yourself in your fear, today, inside of the Cash Vortex, the topic is fearless visibility. And I had the ladies share just one of their deepest fears. One woman shared a fear of, like, what if her mom doesn't talk to her when her mom finds out she's a Christian? Another woman has a fear of being loved. You know, everybody has their own fears. And I asked them to tell me what it feels like noticing that fear in the body. What does it feel like in the body to notice that fear? See, and I also see melanin folk, particular ones, right? Because we're not a monolith. The highness, I know the highness that we are because I know the highness I am. So naturally, when I see myself, I see you. It's very natural. So when you're a high thing and you notice your fear, don't you see the illusion of it? When you're a high thing. And I've questioned because, see, I've been around. I'm not new to this. I've been on camera making money online since 2011. I've been around. So I've been able to watch people come and go. I've been able to watch human behavior, my own behavior. I've been able to watch different groups of people, Indian people, white people, Black people, Latin people, Polish people, French people, African, in this space, in the transformation industry, watch trends, behaviors, why people do what they do, who's doing what and when and what's influencing that. So I have a decade, if you will, of research. And then I also have my access to the infinite, right? And this awareness. And telling you, high melanin people choose to stay disempowered. They choose. They choose. That could be a hard one to swallow. People who know me, people who, we met in 2012 and 2013, white women in particular, who knew me back then are still around. Like, we're both still around, and we see each other in passing online from time to time. And I remember when, before I fully came out with Arrogant Witch, and before I, really came out specifically with targeting melanin folk, this Jewish white woman who's pretty well known in the industry. And I told her I was targeting Black powerful people. And she's like, why would you do that? She said, if you do that, you're going to miss women like me. She said, that's the nutshell of what she said, okay? And I knew what I was investing in. I knew what came with the decision. And I decided, like, I just didn't just randomly, I don't live randomly. And if I do, that's a choice too. And the more I become aware, oh child, and it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. It does. We choose. See, but the flip side of it is that we can choose today. We can choose in the next 5 minutes. We can choose in the next hour. We can choose now. We can choose tomorrow to live like a high thing. And when I look at what it's taken me to get here, the suffering, the relentlessness, it's taken a relentlessness to get here. It's taken being willing to explore the killer in me. We talked about this today inside of Fearless Visibility. We so much want to show that we are good people who want to help. Because, in the Black psyche, okay, and this has been planted and planted and planted in the Black psyche for centuries, that we are bad, just innately bad, innately wrong, innately dangerous, demonic, stupid, dirty. That is deep in the Black psyche. So we are so often trying to prove that we are good. I'm a Christian. I'm good. I'm here to help people. I'm a good person because I'm of the Lord, because I'm good. I'm not like white men have said I am. I'm not a heathen. I'm not a heathen. I'm not a bad, I'm a good. We choose. Choose. I'm aware of how hard it is, which is why I constantly put it in my marketing. I didn't used to put it in my marketing. I used to sell you just the shine. Oh, and it sold so well. It sold so well. Come live in Paris. Come live the opulent life. Come and get it. I live the life. I know how glorious it is to live the life. I know that it's possible. And when I only sold the shine, so much money in selling the shine, so much. We want the shine. Yes, of course, we want to be able to wake up and be like, I'm going to London today. I'm going to Paris next Monday. Fuck you money, is what one of my coaches used to call it. Fuck you money. I didn't sell the struggle that it takes to get to the shine. So women would sign up, truthfully, mostly white women. And the Black women who did show up were mostly invested when the price was low. White women come in. I had a client, her investment to work with me was $27,000. And she wanted so bad to pay him full. She was angry with herself that she had to do, I think it was like a 3-part payment. So like she deposited 8,000 and then we split the balance 2 ways, and she was really wanting to pay him full. And just so many clients who were non-Black who paid easy. And then I remember when I was just starting to market to Black, I called us Melanin Messengers. Was the name Melanin Messengers. This was, what was this? I want to say early 2019. I hadn't fully come out yet. I was marketing, I've been around for a decade, but I hadn't fully come out with marketing to Black people is what I'm saying. Magical Black people. And so the price was stupid low. And I did that on purpose because I had been watching us and researching, etc. And then even like, I think one Black woman I can recall, like maybe, gosh, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, she invested 12,000 for she and I to work together. Do you know that woman showed up to maybe 2 sessions and disappeared? It was stupid low, disappear, show up and disappear. It's hard. It's hard. And it can be done. And not only can it be done, it's worth it. It's like, unless you die, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be here on earth. Unless you die, you're gonna be here. And you're going to live. You're gonna be here. And there's gonna be suffering one way or the other. Right? So you're gonna suffer because you know you're supposed to be living a particular life and you're gonna be, right? And then if you allow yourself to buy the stories that you tell yourself, if you allow yourself to buy them, the sickness of that will start to show up in your body. It will start to show up in how you move. You'll be sick. You'll be sick. You're gonna be 50 years old, sick. 45, sick. In time, the sickness will come when you're not living and being as you are. So I say it's hard now. I include the struggle because I know why so many Black women left. Listen, when you start dealing in see, everybody want to get this modern world about equality. We're not equal. We're not. This equality and oh my God, and we're all the same. Trick, 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 tricks, tricks. And it's multi-leveled, you guys. It's multi-leveled. Like I'm talking about this, but this is just one piece of a much larger picture. This is one piece of a much larger picture. So I'm going to hit another angle right now. The feminine. So I have my own, but I want to share a book with you right now. Like the video. I mean, I don't care actually. The audacity to be queen. Gina DeVee. Wonderful white coach. Multiple seven-figure white coach she's been around like 2 decades. She's fabulous. She's fabulous. And in there she talks about, and I know this to be true, about the way the feminine, oh God, has been just people don't understand it. So I want to talk about this from the Black angle, right? We can talk about this in a big pitch, you know, a larger inclusive way at another time. Right now, I want to talk about the feminine and Black women, okay? And not just any old, listen, we're not the same. Magical, right? You see, and you got to know who you are. You just got to know who you are. You got to be in touch with your heart. You got to be in touch with your pussy to be able to fully have this conversation, okay? What level of intimacy with self, true intimacy with self, which you only get when you actually explore the dynamism that you are. So let's talk about this a little bit. Until you explore everything that is considered taboo, not everything, but the thing that you particularly feel called to explore, there's a way that you do not become intimate with yourself. The dynamism of a magical Black feminine goddess. The dynamism of a Black magical feminine goddess. I'm telling you, listen. See, I'm connected with the past. I'm connected with the future. I know it all. I see it all. See, and we're distracted. They distract us with this modern conversation about, they don't even know. These louder, more popular voices that talk about masculine and feminine, they don't even know. They don't know. The world, the way it's set up right now is riddled with disempowering illusion. It's just riddled, and it's normal. It's normal. Like millions of people buy into false, like illusions that are based in untruths. Do you know how poisonous and disturbing that is to the psyche, can be to a Black magical who's born today? Like, how do you love under these conditions? How, right? And then so then you bring it to being a goddess who's here to serve. And you begin to explore who you are, and you live in a world that's filled. Here we go. And then Black men can't see us. That's part of the problem. They're poison too. Not even just Black men, all people. I'm just talking about the Black dynamic here. So then here you go, you start to see clearly, you start exploring that which is taboo. because you only really become dynamic when you live it. There's great value in being promiscuous consciously. There's great value in being promiscuous consciously. That's taboo. What else is taboo? A woman dealing in great amounts of money is taboo, depending on her. It's great power, and you learn. Do you know what you will learn if you have a genuine curiosity to explore being intimate with a variety of men? Look, I'm not encouraging, I'm saying what's in you? What's a genuine desire? When you are truly a walking goddess, that's why I say we're not the same. The same for everybody. When you are a true walking goddess, see, this is how myth and folklore and all these stories that we can't prove, but when we hear it, something in us gets struck because it's inside of the psyche and the makeup of a lot of us, or some of us, depending on who you are. Like the sacred whore. This sick world we live in can't even appreciate a sacred whore. Huh? A divine feminine goddess who would serve everybody around, everybody in her presence would be rich if they just served her. Rich. You serve her. Make sure she's clean, make sure she sleeps well, make sure you tend to her, make sure she's good, take care of her. And when she is truly taken care of, and she knows she's taken care of, and she can truly relax, how much everybody around her will be rich. They would never have to worry. But no, we live in a poisonous ass world where if you like that, then what, you lazy and bitch, you's a gold digger bitch and use a this, and niggas can't even see straight. Like, so then what happens is women come into my world, the world of all, and all their powers, all their shit starts activating it. See, and this was particularly before I fully came out. See, the running, a lot of it happened before I fully came out. Now, listen, it's all on the table. It's all here. And guess what? I'm not backing down. See, I'm not going to be like, well, see, this is hard for people and maybe I shouldn't come with the fullness. Let me just bring a fraction. See, it can't work no more because of the vows I made, the agreements I made. I would be killing myself if I did that. So I'm selfish first, then I can serve. See, that's the true nature of a motherfucking goddess. But in this world, you selfish, bitch. That's why you this, bitch, because you're selfish, bitch, because you see what I mean? What is a goddess? Can somebody define for me what is a goddess? What are her values? What does she need to thrive? What does she need to feel loved? What's required in her environment? Does somebody know? Who knows? We too busy distracted by social media and I don't know, bills, and we out of our femininity, we out of our power. What's the definition of goddess? I've already made the vows. I refuse to pretend and back down a little bit because this is too much for people. When they're ready, they'll come. Let them stay over there. And I need more of us like that. Our men, ooh, child. And all I can do and will do is my part. I'm not here to try to take other people's position. Everybody need to get into position. I am best in my position. You are best in your position, period. Whatever is in you, you need to really give that room to grow. And it will be hard. I was reading some comments on Charlemagne the God on Instagram, an interview, somebody, I can't remember her name, Black woman. I don't even know her. I don't think I've ever seen her face before, but they were talking about relationships and all this and all that. And she talked about basically just wanting a man who's self-aware. I'm summarizing, right? Who's self-aware enough to where in that awareness and in his walking in his power and in his purpose, that then they can mate and build together. And so many of the men in the comments were, I was just like, they were saying things, and I'm like, how did you hear that from what she said? She didn't, and it was just reflection of how off the thinking is, how much when a woman, gosh, it's just so layered. As we start to walk in the goddess that we are, and also it's really in the beginning when you're wobbly like Bambi, like learning how to walk, that I think people will be the most vitriolic. Because when you get strong in it, people get in line or get the fuck out the way. I was watching, you guys know Iyanla Vanzant is ending her Iyanla Fix My Life show, right? You've heard about that. And she was being interviewed by, I think it was Tamara Hall. Yeah, I saw a video on YouTube, and she was saying one of the reasons why she's leaving the show is because she's just endured so much nastiness and ugly from people over the years. And Tamara asked her about her fear of bringing that to the team and how the video crew would act, etc. And she said, no, what I do before I come out and announce something or that's going to affect other people, and she said, first I get centered in myself. I strengthen it in myself. She said, because I know if I'm not strengthened and solid within me, when I go out there and share with people, any doubt I have in me is going to they're going to reflect it and give it back to me. And so that's what I mean by when you're wobbly in your goddessness. And then the men are so many of the men are so scared. They're trying to defend, they're so busy trying to defend their manhood, and like they're negatively impacted by the patriarchy too. Like we need to understand, and I know this is a long-winded topic, and perhaps I sound like I'm all over the place, but it all connects. It all connects, and it's all relevant. Um, I have a question. What's our reference? What's our model for what a woman is and divine feminine? What's our model for the divine feminine, our reference? Who do we look at and say, oh, this is what it looks like? Oh, this is what it looks like. Who do you personally look at and say, oh, that is how it goes? That this is right. This is it. This is what I like. This is what, right? What's your reference? Who's your model? I'm constantly hearing people constantly reference the 20s and the 50s and the 60s marriages of that time as if those are the models of how it should be. Like, why? Who? What? First of all, do any of us know personally folks who were married in the 50s and 60s? How many do you know? Do you know the heart and inner thoughts of the woman who was a housewife in the 50s and the 60s? Do you know what was in her heart? How many of you know today women who are married with kids and what their heart really thinks? And you know their secret thoughts. How many of you know walking goddesses and their true heart, their true thoughts? So when we see powerful women today, and we imagine those women in the 50s, under the oppressive systems of that time. When I say oppressive systems, I mean, let's keep in mind that it was legal for a husband to rape his wife in the 50s. Let's put some stuff into perspective, okay? Women cannot have real estate and credit cards in their name up until the early 70s. Let's put this, okay? When most women were dependent financially on men, and how many women behaved a certain way because they knew they didn't have the financial resources. So you take a woman like me in the 50s and the 20s, first of all, I just don't, right, maybe I'm not the best example, but the number of women who cooperated because of the systems at play, we don't even know their stories. But yet we take those stories only because they stayed together. That must be success. Totally forgetting how many women were silent, were sick, their heart's desires weren't fulfilled, et cetera, et cetera. But that's okay, right? Because that, we need to understand, like, this is just another piece of the big picture. I told you this is part of a big picture, okay? That so many women stayed, kept the family together because she didn't have money to go anywhere. I was watching the episode of Grace and Frankie, and they're 70, 80, and there was an episode where she was talking about, well, back then, talking about the 40s and 50s. Well, back then, women got married and had kids because you were considered a witch if you didn't. Well, because you were considered, so how many women got married under pressure, had babies under pressure? This is not about, think bigger. This is not about anti-marriage. What I'm saying is there's a fullness and a dynamism to a woman that the world still fights. So then, okay, let's talk about the men now, right? And I'll bring this together. So many men see their value. They don't even know who they are outside of dominance over a woman or providing, right? I went on a date with a guy and I said, aside from money and sex, I asked him this question. Aside from money and sex, what value do you feel like you bring to a relationship? His answer to me was, well, I'm very health conscious and I like to work out and, okay, great. So that's great, right? The point is, patriarchy has sort of like white supremacy, right? White supremacy gives white people a value that's unearned. Patriarchy gives men a value that's unearned. So many of them are disturbed right now because the system that has upheld them being powerful just for the sheer fact of being born male is being chomped away at. And now the real character of them is being required to come forth. And a lot of them don't know who they are outside of dominating a woman, giving money, feeling like they own her. Like, this is deep in the psyche of men and women. A lot of women feel like they are not going to have much in life unless they have a man that pays that way. A lot of women feel like they're not whole or they're not good enough until they get married. This is all systematic and part of centuries of patriarchy. Because if I make my own money, and this is not about feminism, stop. I'm not with that shit at all. This is what I mean. People are so blinded by modern day, they can't even see a goddess. They can't even see a goddess. A goddess requires a lot. A lot. Love, support, space, time, adoration. She requires those things. And if we live in a modern world where a man needs to do these certain things to feel like a man, what's your identity outside of dominating women and buying her? What are you doing, sir? Who are you? So this is all these pieces are impacting a woman coming out of the closet into power, being who she is in a world that totally neglects and doesn't even know how to see a real goddess. Like, people don't know how to look at me. People don't know what to do with me. People look at me from a distance. They argue in their own head with my presence. Men don't know what to do. Every man who I ain't look, right? And like, you're different. Last guy I went out on a date with, you have a unique personality. This is the poison, and this is the consequence of the patriarchy on men. Men are way more powerful than the patriarchy allows them to be. Men are much more dynamic than the patriarchy allows them to be. This is why we got to come into power. This is why I have the 50th floor penthouse reserved in Atlanta, December 19th and 20th. This is why I've invested almost $700 in Facebook ads to bring us together, because this shit out here, this shit out is so off. It is so off. Do you know? So we had Penetrate Her last week, and we had Penetrate Her the week before, and we're going to have it this week as well. So the goal is always to have a balance. We've had more women than men come forward saying they want to participate. And so I always work to keep the numbers, okay, balanced, meaning like 5 men and 5 women. I never want it to be like 10 women and 5 men, right? So there's a screening process. They answer questions. I just want to make sure, check people's awareness and just make sure it's not some kind of robot shit going on. Are you sure you would like to be here? Yes, yes. So I get confirmation. It's a 2-way agreement. Yes, I would like to be there. So then I send folks the link for folks to show up live, at I think 2 p.m. Eastern or whatever the time is on Wednesday. Week 1, there were supposed to be 4 men who was to show up. 1 showed up, the other 3 didn't show. Okay. The following week, there was supposed to be 3 men and 4 women. None of the men showed up, and all 4 of the women showed up. So this is real information, okay? Results, okay? And these are men who said they wanted to be there. I confirmed, they answered the questions, like all of this. What's going on? You see? So what I'm doing is correcting. This is correcting. And I can feel, I can sense, I know things, and I could just feel that this felt too good to be true. Nobody had said it, but I just felt it, right? And then last week, one of the women emailed me. She's like, I just can't believe that you and this retreat exists. I'm just waiting for the ball to drop. There it is. Right? And it's like, in a world filled with so much bullshit and war and division between the masculine and the feminine, and this cross races. I mean, you see white men on the internet yelling and crying all over the place because of feminism, okay? But it's easy to just blame feminism. Feminism is an offshoot of the patriarchy too. All of this shit is an offshoot of the patriarchy. And it's not even like to blame. It's really, be aware. Like, you got to start asking and looking beyond just what is. How did this come to be? And even bigger and higher than that, who am I? See, who am I? Because I know who I am, I know what a goddess is. Because I experience being in this body, interacting with people, I can see where the flaw is. I can see where the problem is. I can see where the flawed thinking is. And because I'm willing to work this muscle right here. The heart is a muscle. My sister reminded me recently, the heart is a muscle. A willingness to work this muscle. And so a lot of Black women and Black men, magical. There's a way that we don't allow ourselves to take reign because we feel so alone. It's like, who's going to do this with me? I'm just going to be out here powerful by myself. I mean, I've felt that before. I remember when I was living in Paris, just so high. And this is why I'm working to bring us together, because I know that when we lean into each other, we'll be able to withstand the power. It is hard to withstand power alone. To really become powerful, and you get into the cessation of your fullness, you start engaging with your fears, especially with the way the women are doing it inside of the cash vortex. And that stuff starts to dissolve and the grip starts to release. So then you have all this liberated power and attention. It's just a lot for one human being. But if it's two of us, as my sisters say, it's over for you hoes. Two of us, then just imagine if it's five of us. Liberated power, willing, hearts open, leaning into each other. Then imagine 10 of us. See? But we got to get there. Like, we got to get in a room. We got to get in a room. And it's a lot. It's a lot to even agree to be in such a room. Because when we can, gosh, get out of it's like a cloud. It's a spell. Gosh, it's so clear. And I'm like, don't people see this? Like, I feel like the right people, you see me and you lean all the way in, beating down my door. And I mean, can I come fly to you right now? I feel like that's how it should be. Like, because when you've been in a spell and your sight opens up, you can see. So then when you see me, you're like, yeah, oh my, right? You know, it's a lot. And I think that's part of the reason why these Black men, ooh, child. And a lot of Black men so in this patriarchy, a lot of it is this patriarchy shit. It's a big responsibility to really become a man, become self-responsible emotionally, and then to come into your power. Any man who's truly aware, who really knows that he's supposed to serve the goddess. He knows. Anything else is ego at work. He knows. He knows. And she will take such great care of him, immaculate care of him. Just, he will have everything he needs and more. And she will as well, because he will serve him. That's the way it's supposed to be. And as soon as we get out of these distractions of modern spells, shit, even old spells, it's going to take some time. It's actually going to take longer than my goal was, to have us in this beautiful, spacious, made for the gods penthouse. Just really set the energy in that space for pure magic. I don't know anything to exist like this today. This level of, and this is, see, and it's really compelling. It's really calling. This is pioneering here. It's pioneering. Yeah. And I'm not interested in being here, but we're not doing this. I've been around, see, and when you go through certain portals, you can stand differently than somebody who hasn't gone through the portal yet. You guys, and I think I'm getting ready to wrap up here. You are dynamic. If you are truly a goddess, not because you want to feel feminine and your ego wants to feel sexy, and because you want to feel important and have meaning in your life because you just feel so bored and empty with yourself. But if you've gotten to know yourself enough to know that you are a walking goddess, and if you're a man watching this, you've come to know yourself enough to know that you are a god, devoid of needing to prop yourself up so you defend manhood and feel important. Truly, when you're quiet, You are dynamic. Beyond measure, beyond measure. The world cannot hold you. It does not understand you. It's not made to understand you. All of us are sitting in the creation of men who wanted power over and who were scared of the feminine. There are countless stories. There was a series on Netflix and they took it down. There was a series on Netflix, and this, I can't remember what this white woman was from, but she was an American. And there was a series on the different ways feminine power has been destroyed over the centuries. And there were different stories, Asian women, African women who did all sorts of powerful things during their time, that men deliberately did things to destroy the story. If there were certain respectful ways that they laid powerful people to rest, they made sure not to lay that woman to rest like that. If she did something that empowered women, that started to change people's minds and liberate women and men, right? Because men who were not a part of that, who was watching what was happening, they saw what was happening, the poison, and there was also a war in them, like, what side am I going to take? Okay. And women who did powerful things in the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s, outside of the United States. Remember, the US is a baby. Don't even look at the US. The West, don't even look at the US as a model, an example of femininity. Just throw the US out. Out. They have no out. Just nothing. America, listen, and I am proud to be an American. Don't get it twisted. Okay, I like having my American passport and I love American privilege. Don't get it twisted. However, I'm also acutely aware of the bully that America is. Okay, how much of a baby we are compared to the fucking United Kingdom. Okay, how much of a baby we are compared to France. How much of a baby we are compared to Africa. Okay. And when you start going back further than before the United States was the United States, okay, and you start to see the very deliberate ways that feminine power has been killed, very deliberate. And you go back even further before that started, okay? Because before there were the deliberate ways to kill feminine power, there were the ways that feminine power was revered. Know your place. Have the courage and the patience to really come to know who you are. Explore that which is taboo. It is taboo for a reason. There's a lot of power in that which is taboo. That which is taboo today was revered and normal 1,000 years ago in other countries. So there's a reason why it's taboo. Okay. Don't look to America for models. I mean, unless you want to talk about technology or other, fleeting, fast moving modern day things. Yeah. Okay. Different kinds of ways technology is alive and present and all that. But if you want to look to the soul, America is not a reference point. You want to look to femininity, masculine, divine feminine, America is not your model. America is not where you want to do your research. We are so much more. I have known it forever, and it has taken so much cultivation of my own power to stand in it. The world doesn't support a woman standing in power, full, true power. Love, like rich, men are terrified of it. Women are terrified of it. And it hurts to lie. I speak for myself. It hurts to lie. It hurts my heart. It hurts to pretend like I don't know and then to live in the lie. It hurts to live in the lie. So I don't, hmm. I don't blame, I don't blame any man or woman who the magical ones, who who are just unwilling to really stand in who they are. It's hard. It's hard. And when I just look at my own life and what it's taken me to get here, it's I've had to sacrifice so much. I've been slapped in the face a lot, you know. People don't understand, and I understand how it got like this. Like, I know how it got like this. I'm one person here, November 2021, and there have been billions upon billions upon billions of people who have been here before you and I, who have helped to create the frequency that currently exists. And I just don't blame any person who has difficulty and who wars with themselves, because there's such an internal war, who wars with themselves to decide one way or the other if they're going to really come out and stand in that, like come to the retreat, like even to reach out to me, you know, it, you should be reaching out to me. Like you active today, Shelley. So I repeat the Arrogant Witch YouTube show at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is it right here. There is more to come in different ways, but this here, every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, this is it. Thank you for being here.